with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
I'm Sarah Nystrom from Sweden, aka Chief Omobowale Communication Queen. Keep watching VOP TV.
I am Samantha Jacobs, representing the States. Miami's in the house, and I want to make a shout out to VOP TV. I'm a humanitarian, and I'm also a rep in the film industry and the art industry. I help dreams come true, and I help you keep on that path. Shout out to VOP TV because you're helping people stay on their path too. Cheers.
All right, my name is John Odibo. Keep watching Voice of the People because it's a fantastic station to be with all the time. Thank you very much.
My name is Pastor Elvis Siru, the convener of the Voice Achievers Award, and keep watching VOP. Yes, that is the channel for all the people. No color, no race. Thank you so much.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abasunkan from the Netherlands. I am a designer and I'm here in Eco Hotel and Suits. Keep watching VOP, the voice of the people. Don't touch that dial.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Good evening, Africa. My name is Motsepe, actor, model, producer, and I'm giving a big shout out to VOP TV, man. Keep watching. Don't change the dial. Thank you and God bless you.
My name is AY, and of course, I represent the voice of the people, and that's why I'm on VOP. AY say so.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Miriam Tima from the Real Housewives of Lagos and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Shout out to VOP, the voice of the people. You already know. Stay tuned, keep watching. And don't forget, VOP is the best.
Alright, hello, it's a brother shagging the man fine back with the Melanie Poppy Black Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know why you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weight. There,
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP, Voice of the People.
Hi guys, you already know who it is. This is New Energy. Flyers wherever live. Keep watching VOP TV. Thank you.
Hi, people. Ginny Albano here. Guys, please keep watching Voice of the People.
In a world where power shakes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
All right, thank God it's Friday. It's another beautiful edition of the Locker Room as we prepare for the weekend of football action all around Europe. And of course, the NPFL will be agog with fixtures to look forward to as far as the exciting round-letter game is concerned. Welcome once again to another action-packed edition of the Locker Room. I am Jerry Arpelio-High, and we're about to dive deep into the football world with some insightful analysis. And joining me today is the usual suspect. I like to call him Oluwa Mayowa Lau. Great to have you join us. Mayowa, so much to look forward to an exciting world of football. I hope it will not be draw soup this weekend, but it is what it is. It's great to have you. Anyway.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. I mean, a whole lot of football to talk about. The FA Cup fourth round is coming up this weekend, and a whole lot of the big teams, they are supposed to show up and do their job. You know, it has not been rosy for Arsenal. It has not been rosy for some of the top teams. They've dropped points during the week, and this is an avenue for them to fix it. Arsenal yesterday decided to almost bottle it, and now they have 4 points between them and Man City. There's also an Atletico Madrid that decided to put Pepe in the eye of Barcelona. But in any case, a whole lot of what to talk about. Thank you for having me, Jerry. TGIF.
All right, so of course you can catch us on VOP TV Live and our backup channel, VOP TV Plus. And we also expect that you can drop your comments as the show progresses to tell us what you think about whatever corner or whatever topic you might want to say a thing or two about. You can also meet us and join us on LCL TV, channel 264. We are also on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Right? Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so we'll know that you're part of the Voice of the People TV. All right, we'll start off with the controversy of the Women African Cup of Nations. It's set to come up later in the middle of this year, but it looks like controversies have started piling up. The Executive Committee of the Confederation of African Football has confirmed that Morocco will remain the host nation for the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations with no alteration to the tournament schedule. The decision was ratified during the CAF Executive Committee meeting held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, under the leadership of CAF President Patrice Motsepe. And speculations had emerged in recent weeks suggesting that Morocco could withdraw from hosting duties, raising concerns about a possible change of venue or shift in date. However, CAF moved swiftly to dispel the rumors, reaffirming both the host country and the originally stipulated timeline for the competition. Morocco successfully hosted the previous edition of the tournament in 2022, earning plaudits for its organization, infrastructure, and record-breaking attendance figures. And the North African nation is expected to build on that legacy when it stages the 2026 edition. Mayowa, why does CAF have to convince everybody that Morocco is still the host of this tournament. It looks like there's trouble in paradise after all.
Well, the thing is, it's very simple. You cannot expect Morocco to be bailing CAF out and not expect something in return. We saw the attitude in the last concluded AFCON. We saw how unsportsmanly they behaved, and we saw the slap on the wrist that CAF gave them. Also, remember, this is not the first time Morocco is holding CAF on the neck. However, one good thing that finally came out is that finally, the CAF committee have come out to announce that Morocco is not pulling out. If they have pulled out, we'd have expected a whole lot of consequences from Morocco. But at least let's give kudos to them for not pulling out at the end of the day. I mean, it would have been a disgrace if they pull out in the last minute and CAF has to start 1 year after and the rest of that. However, this should not be allowed to continue. You cannot have an association that is at the mercy of Morocco. That is never sustainable, and it will never be sustainable. And it's just like the World Cup saying the only country that can host the World Cup is France. If France continues to host the World Cup every 4 years, definitely we expect France to want to do something in order to win it. So I think CAF needs to go back to the drawing board to avoid this. As far as I'm concerned, this is a disgrace to CAF. I mean, definitely before Morocco will agree to return back to the table in terms of hosting, some deals would have been made behind the scene. Obviously, they will not come out to tell us, but definitely some deals would have been made behind the scene, and that is the reason why Morocco would have come out to reverse, their rumored decision. Because I mean, like they say, there is no smoke without fire. If there is no fire, you will not see any smoke. So for the alleged rumor to come out at that particular time, it means Morocco were actually considering it. And you could see how the CAF president was pandering to the FA president of Morocco and also the king in the last AFCON final. So I'm hoping this will not be an avenue to compensate Morocco, because remember, I've said this and I'm repeating it again. If Morocco goes ahead to host it, which they have agreed to do now, I think I will not be surprised if their female national team ends up winning the WAFCON, because I mean, that would be the only consolation. That would be a way to compensate Morocco for always bailing out CAF. And it would be a bad taste in our football, if you would ask me.
Talking about the backroom agreements, but that takes the shine off the competition's fair play, because if a team is being anointed by the Confederation of African Football, the ruling body, before the competition starts, how would other teams feel unfair when the competition starts and it's obvious that one team is getting all the favoritism? It will take off the shine. What if the players of the other various national teams decide to boycott the competition?
Well, the thing is, see, there's always a strict rule when it comes to boycotting of competition. And let me give a typical example. I, for one, I never supported the action of the Senegalese side on that final day. And you have the responsibility to show up as a professional, irrespective of whatever is happening. Yes, remember when we were discussing this issue, there were a whole lot of situations surrounding what culminated in the Senegalese deciding to leave the field without staying to the end of the match, and before somebody had to convince them to come back. But when they are being punished, nobody will talk about that, because that's not something that happens on the field of play. A boycott, I don't think a boycott will happen. The moment you show up for that particular tournament, if you don't want to get the every match that will spread like FIFA, you have to show up and play. However, the way Morocco and probably CAF will do it is more of the officiating. Another typical example is we saw exactly what Morocco did. We saw how sportsmanly they behaved. We saw how a whole lot of teams, not only one team, a whole lot of teams complained about the officiating from the first game of Morocco till the last game. What happened? Nothing happened. Remember the referee that blew in the final of the WAFCON between Nigeria and Morocco? The referee was asked because Morocco tried to protest. These are kind of things, these are kind of favoritism that CAF probably put in place. They will not make it that obvious, but majority of the major cause will go the way of the rules to ensure that they eventually get to the final, and that's what probably happened. How do you explain, the Moroccan side showed taking towel, this unfair play that they were displaying, and they only got a slap on the wrist as a fine. That is CAF pandering to Morocco. Even that particular tournament that they lost, you have to blame Brian Diaz for doing the Panenka. If not for the Panenka, Morocco would definitely be talking about Morocco winning the tournament. So I think CAF did what they were supposed to do for Morocco in the last AFCON, but Brian Diaz tried to misbehave. I think the same thing probably happened in this WAFCON again. Remember the last time Nigeria played Morocco at the WAFCON semi-final? 2 Nigerian players got recorded in that match before Nigeria used that game on penalty. So I see that repeating itself again, just to ensure that the Morocco female side gets to the final and probably maybe get to it. And the sad part is this: it takes away from the football and it takes away from the competence of our officials. I will not be surprised when the World Cup is happening, we don't get to see any African ref, in the center circle. Maybe majority of them will be at the VAR or probably show up as a linesman, but not as the main man, because of this kind of underhand tactics between Morocco and the CAF.
Yeah, big questions are going to be asked, and a lot of doubts has been casted on the credibility of this competition. So far, so good. Do you think maybe, if that's the case, some countries who are participating in the competition should petition CAF and ask that the competition be taken away from Morocco, so that there will be fair play, where a neutral country should be hosting this AFCON? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's already too late. And if I were Morocco, today is 13th. We have about roughly almost a month before the tournament starts. If I put in a whole lot of investment in hosting you, and decide that you want to pull out from the competition, I will sue you for you to refund all the money I've spent, and that's just the honest truth. As provided Morocco has already agreed and they finalized with CAF and they are moving ahead to host this particular competition, at this point in time, CAF cannot pull out again. If CAF pulls out, I will even support Morocco to sue CAF to ensure that they sue them for damages and get their money back. It is CAF that has put themselves in this kind of situation. Countries petitioning CAF to move the tournament from Morocco and the rest of that, citing an unfair thing that has never happened, an unfair underhand tactics that has never happened, will not fly anywhere until the competition starts. That is when you begin to experience underhand tactics. You cannot start complaining about something that has not happened yet. So it will be very difficult for the participating teams to petition CAF for them to take any legitimate action, because the big question they will ask is this: what is the proof that this is going to happen? Definitely we know because of the accident. However, there is no definitive proof for that to happen. So, if the petition CAF, it will fall on deaf ears, and Morocco will continue to go ahead and still host. What should be done going forward is this: I think the era of CAF allowing Morocco to host everything, even from awards and major competition, needs to end. Competitions needs to move around. And if I were CAF, going for this, I would divide the continent into 4 places: North, West, East, and South. Then move the competition every 2 years. Now is the turn of North Africa. Maybe the next edition goes to South Africa. The countries in the South African region, let some of them bid for this particular tournament. After that, move to the East, move to the West, and move it around and focusing on Morocco and giving Morocco all the leverage.
Yeah, that's where you give kudos to the likes of Sepp Blatter. He succeeded in rotating the hosting of the World Cup, making other continents have a field. If not for people like Sepp Blatter, Africa wouldn't have had a chance of hosting the World Cup through South Africa in the year 2010. I don't know whether Patrice Motsepe has such ambition or he has the foresight to do that, because it looks like he's looking for where the food is ready, not making extra effort to preach unity with the AFCON. The AFCON was all about all Africans being interested in hosting it, and all Africans feeling that it's their competition, but not one country hijacking it and making it look like it belongs to those who are favored, who have the necessary, talking about financial power. That's not the beauty of the AFCON. The AFCON was about Africa, the way it is, the raw talent, the raw nature of Africa, not trying to sugarcoat it. Yes, we should be able to meet up with standard in terms of the pitches, the organization. Yes, we're getting there. But Africa is Africa. It cannot be Europe.
I mean, you are very correct. And to be honest with you, especially when it comes to African football, and this is not throwing shots at African countries, there are some African countries that still feel, the girl child, cannot do anything rather than just produce baby and, be stuck in one man's house and the rest of that. Some African countries still believe that women are not supposed to play football. And that is the essence of moving this kind of competition around. It will not be too much to ask for a country like Eswatini that might never qualify if they continue to play qualifiers, that might never qualify for the next 50 years for this kind of competition. It will not be a bad idea for a country like Eswatini to host this kind of competition. It will not be a bad idea for a country like Seychelles to host this kind of competition. It will not be a bad idea for a Sudan to host this kind of competition. And this kind of competition comes to all those countries, who encourage people to begin to see that there is an avenue for women to be much more than just being a housewife or just somebody that is a baby making factory and not a huge contributor to the success of the society. This is what CAF should do, because it's also an avenue to bring much more enlightenment to these people and also help these countries to grow. Because Eswatini now, for example, Eswatini in the last qualifier, they couldn't play any of their games at home. But if in the next 10 years we are trying to get Eswatini as a country to host the WAFCON with CAF putting in the support, it helps them to also develop. They want at least 1 or 2 stadiums that will be standard enough to host that kind of competition, and that development stays with them even in competition. And that is how that's how you envision to grow the African football, especially the field of football. Africa, I don't think Motsepe has that vision, and it's so sad, that with all the business intelligence, business acumen he has, he doesn't have the foresight for growth in terms of African football across the African region.
Yeah, it is what it is. And to really make a whole story of the whole executive committee meeting, President of the Royal Moroccan Football Federation, Fawzi Lekjaa, was absent from the recent executive committee meeting of the Confederation of African Football held in Tanzania. Lekjaa reportedly boycotted the high-level gathering, a move believed to be linked to growing internal tensions within the continental football governing body. Sources indicate that dissatisfaction over what has been described as inadequate sanctions following incidents surrounding the 2025 African Cup of Nations final contributed to his decision. There are also concerns about a perceived lack of coordination and cohesion within CAF's leadership structure, and the executive committee meeting, which brought together key stakeholders to deliberate on strategic issues affecting African football, proceeded in his absence. However, Lekjaa's decision has further fueled speculation about underlying disagreements at the top level of the organization, and CAF is yet to issue an official statement addressing the Moroccan FA president's absence from the meeting. This is huge. This is a statement. If the man that is hosting the continent of Africa refused to be in a meeting where Motsepe is telling the world that Morocco is still hosting, can you take Motsepe's word for it? Because it looks like he has not sorted his issues with Lekjaa. Lekjaa is still not happy with the decision made by CAF. So his absence is very, very, very significant, Maiwa.
Well, the thing is this, I think Lekjaa is just throwing tantrums. This is not the first time we see the North Africans throw tantrums. Remember, I will take you back to 2022 World Cup. Remember when they got to the semi-final, they said they are not Africans, they are Arab. They started calling themselves Arab. Also, they've also said that they want to pull out of CAF, that they feel, they are not getting enough sort of credit from CAF, and they want to pull out and join, the Arabian FA. But that has not, they've not done that since, and yet it's continuing to participate. Definitely, what the military is very simple. It's trying to protest the sanction CAF gave them. And for me, the sanction was not even tough enough. Sanction was slapping. The sanction was a disgrace. Morocco was displaying such a spontaneous behavior. They should have been fined much more than that. There should have been punishment They should have been punished much more than that. The consequence for the action should have been much more than that. However, because the Moroccans have held CAF hostage, the CAF cannot really do much. For Motsepe, it is left for Motsepe, to sort this out. Because we have come out to say that Morocco is going to host, and we only go by what Motsepe is saying. Also, remember, nobody from the Moroccan FA or even the government of Morocco has come out to say they are not hosting. Or that happens, we have to go by what Motsepe is saying. What I suspect is this: I suspect, the Lekjaa is angry, and Motsepe is trying to make some backroom deals with him to ensure that the competition goes as planned. If Motsepe says otherwise, we just have to go with what Motsepe has said. However, if it happens that Morocco finally pulls out, it's going to be a huge disgrace for Motsepe, and it will be grounds for Motsepe resigning, because Motsepe got staffed into this mess. He allowed this to happen. Under Motsepe, no other country has hosted the CAF Awards. No other country has hosted any major tournament in Africa except Morocco. The only one was maybe the what's it called now? This under-20 WAFCON that was held in this under-20 championship that was held in Egypt, the one that Lekjaa participated. Apart from that, every other major award, major competition has gone to Morocco, and that's the fault of Motsepe for not spreading this across Africa.
Yeah, so he enabled the Moroccans' arrogance, don't you think? Because making them look like they were the only one. It's more like a spoiled child who has gotten too much pampering, now believes that without them, Africa will not be able to host any championship. And it's sad because let's not forget, before Morocco started hosting the AFCON, which it has not done in ages, others have been hosting it, and there's no issue. But all of a sudden, Motsepe, it looks like Esau selling his birthright just for a pot of porridge. The whole Africa is now going through his knees. But this is really sad. This is really sad. Motsepe, does it look like he has failed in his leadership qualities? And Lekjaa looking like he had too much leverage on Motsepe and the way and manner they handled the leadership of the Confederation of African Football.
It's very simple. If everybody feels like you are the only know, there's no reason to get into your head. It's going to get into your head, and it's normal for everybody. That's just how a human being is. If they continue to praise you to some extent, the praise gets into your head, and I think that's just what's happening to Morocco. Then for Motsepe, if you have to stand up, I think Motsepe has been a failure, and I will list them out. Number one, look at the AFCON qualifier. How does Motsepe not see a conflict of interest in the group of Nigeria? And he allowed that to slide. That's the point. Number two, look at the AFCON qualifier, World Cup qualifier again. How did the issue of DR Congo, how did the issue of DR Congo was not addressed before it generated into such? How was it not addressed? How did they review that? Number three, how did Motsepe allow Morocco to be the only country hosting everything that comes to Africa? How did that happen under his watch? Number four, how come it's under Motsepe's watch that an Ashraf Hakimi will come out and said somebody told him that he was going to win? Somebody from CAF told him that he was going to win. Number five, under Motsepe, under the same Motsepe, countries that commit offenses get a slap on the wrist. Remember what Libya did to Nigeria? What was the punishment that was issued out to them? What was the consequences they faced? The consequences was a slap on the wrist. Number six, how is it that Motsepe continues to continue to pander to the North Africans? How? No North African team, none of the North African teams, none of them has received every fine. Remember what happened during, I think, one of these CAF tournaments, I think CAF Champions League game, I think it's Algeria, if I'm not mistaken, Algeria or Egypt, that they cheated their host poorly, and CAF did nothing. This has been happening consistently. Number seven, if you look at the growth of football under Morocco, under Motsepe across Africa, is is practically non-existent. The only thing that's able to do, the only thing that has been able to do, to give you those bring more sponsors for for African tournament. The revenue for the tournament has shot up on his work. He has gotten that correctly. I think it's one of the top CAF presidents we have seen in recent years that has been able to bring in more revenue for CAF. However, the big question is this: what does that revenue translate to? Does it translate to development of football across Africa? No, I'm not seeing it. I am not trying to absorb, the various corrupt FAs across the African region. But I've not seen any impactful development coming from CAF that CAF has championed across Africa, and for that, I think he has failed.
I think he has failed. Does that question whether he should remain as the CAF president, looking at the way the manner he has handled the situations, because being biased to one country out of so many other countries is pretty unfair, coming from somebody who, as an umpire of African football, should be seen as not being biased.
Well, for me, I think the thing is this: money matters a whole lot, and because he has been able to bring in more money into CAF under his tenure, I think the majority of people want to go for that. Let's be honest with ourselves: money makes the world go round. No matter your intentions, even if you're after development and the rest of that, if you are not bringing in revenue, you are not productive. And that's what the honest truth. We are in a capitalistic world. Everything revolves around money. Everything revolves around the ideas we bring up in terms of making money. He has been able to do that successfully, and I think that probably under him, CAF is not cash crunch. Remember, under his reaction, there were some period of time where CAF had issues with cash. But that is not the case. Under him, the revenue has gone up, and I think that probably worked in his favor in terms of his re-election. However, if you want CAF as an organization to be respected, if you want CAF as an organization to not be disrespected, even the man himself cannot even stand on 2 toes to face, FIFA, or to tell them no when somebody holds a pressure. That is the reason why he's even saying that he wants to turn the competition to 4 years, which is not supposed to be so. It shows he doesn't have a backbone. What is Saka is saying is just after money. I think, apart from the money, everyone, if you want CAF to be respected, if you want CAF as an organization to have a say when it comes to world football and not allow others to respect us, I think Motsepe is not the person to take us forward.
Wow. Okay. Let's see how that pans out. And it looks like all the competitions before CAF are under so much scrutiny and talking about uncertainty, because there's also talk about the postponement of the 2027 African Cup of Nations. The Confederation of African Football has dismissed reports suggesting that the 2027 Nations Cup will be postponed, confirming that the tournament will proceed as scheduled. The Confederation of African Football dismissed the reports and saying that the competition is going to hold, and the decision was ratified today following a meeting of CAF's executive committee held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Speculation had emerged in recent weeks over a possible shift of the tournament to 2028, but CAF clarified that there are no plans to alter the existing calendar. The 2027 edition of the Africa Cup of Nations will be jointly hosted by Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, marking the first time the competition will be staged across 3 East African nations. Mayowa, yes, the talk about the postponement of the African Cup of Nations in 2027 was in the front burner, was in the news. Everybody was talking about it, but it looks like CAF has come out again to tell us nothing of such is happening. So it looks like everything about CAF has question mark right now.
Well, I hope it should not be a case of maybe 2 months to the tournament. Morocco will come up again. It's not the first time it's happening. It's happened before. I hope this one will not be like that again. But I think it'll be a disgrace. You have to be South African countries, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, who are already affected to this competition. If I'm talking about postponement, it means those 3 countries probably do not have the capacity to host it. And I'm very glad that CAF has come out to say, no, that's not happening. However, until the opening ceremony in any of the countries, that's when I will believe. Remember, this is not the first time the country is pulling out. One of the reasons why Morocco has CAF on the chokehold is because Morocco stepped up to one of the AFCON editions. When Egypt decided, I think if I'm not mistaken, Egypt or Tunisia decided to pull out 3 months before the tournament, and Morocco decided to step up, and that is the reason why Morocco has CAF on the chokehold. I'm hoping that this does happen, and it goes back again to what I'm saying. Most of these airfares across Africa, they are just there for figurehead. Majority of them are just, political position, political appointments, R&D elections. These are not people that are passionate about football. Should I shock you? We complain about our own FA. Take a look at the Kenyan FA. Take a look at the Tanzania FA. Take a look at the Ugandan FA. You will shake your head. You will shake your head. They can't even organize themselves. And these are the kind of FAs we have across Africa. These are the kind of FA that we have across Africa. The only people that has been able to organize themselves are, your Senegalese, your Cape Verde, Algeria, Morocco, and these are people that have, in South Africa, these are people that have decent FAs. The other countries across Africa, their FAs are filled with corruption, and that's the reason why we are seeing this. So it will be a big disgrace if all these two countries, if they fail to be able to live up to the expectation for this tournament and allow CAF to postpone again. It will be a shame. I'm hoping that's not happening, but I'll keep my finger crossed until when I'm watching the opening ceremony in one of these countries. That's when I will believe that they are not pulling out.
All right, and of course it will be somewhat embarrassing because if 3 heads cannot do what 1 head can do, I don't know what's the use of the 3 heads, because they used to tell us, our parents says 2 heads are better than 1, and if 3 heads are contemplating what 1 head can do, I don't know. Maiwa, you can interpret that. All right. CAF reiterated its commitment to ensuring that preparations remain on track with infrastructure development, logistics, and tournament planning continue in line with the approved timeline. I think CAF should also go a step further to visit these countries and find out if there will be anything that would make this competition to be delayed, and try as much as possible to iron them out on time, not having a situation where they will do a damage control. The control should start now. They should have committees speaking to the organizers and trying to make sure that they meet up time in terms of logistics and so on.
Well, the thing is that I think should adopt this method. The 2030 Cup, we already know is going to Saudi Arabia, right? And this is 2026. The 2026 World Cup is not where it's going, right? Saudi Arabia, we've known that the World Cup is going to Saudi Arabia since 2022. Now that's 8 years of preparation. I think this is what we should do. Every country that was, for example, the next edition is 2027. Maybe it continues every 2 years or whatever it is. 2 years. The next edition will be maybe 2033. By 2027, the next country, the country that was in 2033, should have been known by then. And you have enough time to put in all the preparation, to put in all the finishing touches, to start preparing. I think they should adopt that method. And if you go to a country, if you want a smaller country to host a country that they have the kind of muscle, financial muscle that a Morocco or a Nigeria or South Africa have, you give them time. You would have announced it 6 or 8 years, even before that time. So they have enough to prepare. Not that, after 2 years, they are announcing the next host. It doesn't make any sense. We don't even know the next host after the three African countries. That's what I like earlier as the poor planning of Sindar Motsepe. You don't have to plan. You don't give enough time for all these countries to be able to prepare accordingly. Remember the last competition that was held in Côte d'Ivoire? Côte d'Ivoire almost pulled out because it was structuring them. They had to go and borrow money to get all these stadiums ready. It is because, because of the way CAF has been doing this, allocation of hosting. Is the way in this the right of thing. They should adopt what FIFA has been doing. By the time we are talking about 2030 World Cup, we already know the next two World Cup 2030 we are talking about Spain and Morocco. And 2034 is another like 8 years now. That's what we call planning. And CAF has not been able to do that. And that's the reason why we continue to see, smaller countries struggle in terms of host competition. I think CAF should review how they do their hosting right, so that they give ample time for all these small countries to be able to play effectively and get their hosting rate up standard for the company to host effectively and smoothly.
All right, and of course, Maiwa, what happened to African time? Africa, they don't do things on time. They always wait for the last minute to take action. And even if you give them 50 years, it will start the proper planning will start 3 months to the event. That's when they'll start doing the proper planning. They might just be procrastinating and saying, okay, we still have time. Let's not be in a hurry. The money was going to follow bottlenecks before it will be released. And some people would have taken care of their family, taken care of all their expenses, and settled all their problems for life before they'll start thinking about, okay, what's in the stadium? And let's build something like that one in Kebbi. At least it's very far away. Nobody will go and check. It is what it is. Nobody will check. They will see the picture online and know that the speech is okay.
No, but I mean, if you do that, let me give you an example. We all Saudi Arabia is hosting next 4 years. However, CAF is already monitoring progress of what is being done. Remember, there was a report that all these human rights guys were talking about, the human rights situation when it comes to Saudi Arabia and when it comes to what surrounds the preparation towards the World Cup that we're participating. If you are giving the rights out at that particular time, say you want a 2035, what you'll be looking at as immediately you give them the hosting rights. You as an organization that also want to be a partner in the progress and the success of that small team, you have to also be committed to ensure that they do what they're supposed to do at the right time. Because at the end of the day, you will not want to disgrace yourself. Let me give you an example. If Saudi Arabia decides to wake up one morning and they have a blood rush to their head and they say they are not going to wake up in 2030 again, it will not find anything to already have another host on ground. That's how prepared they've been. That's how involved they have been with all this context. I think CAF needs to do the same thing to ensure that the people they give the hosting right, follow the plan to ensure that they produce a standard that meets CAF quality to be able to ensure that the competition is held appropriately and smoothly in that particular country. So CAF, apart from giving the hosting right, they also have the responsibility to do a local finance now, bumper to bumper follow up with the hosting nation.
All right, let's see how that pans out in terms of how prepared they will be in 2027. It's just less than a year before the next AFCON. We hope that they'll be ready and there'll be no stories. Anyway, former Nigerian international Friday Ekpo has urged the Nigerian Football Federation to extend the contract of Super Eagles head coach Lekjaa amid growing interest from Olympic Marseille. Ekpo's call follows reports that Marseille have opened discussions with Chelsea as they search for a replacement for the party manager Roberto De Zerbi. The Italian's exit was confirmed in the early hours of Wednesday, prompting the Lekjaa club to step up efforts to appoint a successor. Do you think there's actually anything about this story that Marcel might be interested in Lekjaa? Don't you think maybe the agent is trying to make it make him get a bigger offer or a big pay rise from the NFF?
Well, it's not a matter of getting a big pay rise. Can the NFF actually pay? That's the culture of people. Those that want to be 94, we give them over 29 years before they could redeem the pledge with them. The same NFF that has been owing player bonuses for the past 6 years. The same NFF that players had to protest and say they will not play the game in the Nations Cup before they decide to pay them. So it's not a matter of the agent trying to get him a bumper contract or get him more money. The question is, can NFF sustain the momentum? Can NFF play consistently and not, you and I, it's possible. If they pay for the first 6 months, I'm 100% sure they have starting, they don't have finishing. They will at some point. That has been the plague that has plagued our NFF. So for me personally, also, another thing we should look at is this. Does the NFF believe in the Lekjaa project? NFF believe what most of them in the glass house believe is, and I need to get more money in the pocket. That's the only thing that they believe in. They don't believe in the project, in the Nigeria football project. They only believe in the project that gives them more money, and that is it. So for me, if another viable comes, if an Olympic Marcel comes, and Olympic Marcel will not hold you, you get to work with your talents, and you get to express yourself more better. You are not under the shadow of somebody who has a slot and will threaten you that you must play that particular team. I think I'll probably take the job because the Olympic Marcel job offers more stability. And this is not me being pessimistic. This is me just stating the fact. We hire foreign coach over and over again. And when all of them left, I think very constant, all of them, they complain about being old. Why John Nelly lost his house? Marcelo was old. So it will not be the first time. Venezuela was old. He was 8 months. So it's not what the NFF is doing. It's if they can be consistent and if they believe in the Lekjaa project. And I don't think so.
If they believe in the Lekjaa project, that is the big word coming from Maiwa there. Caption that headline news. Okay. All right, let's move on to the FA Cup. Arsenal and Manchester City take a break from their battle at the top of the Premier League to try and remain on course for a quadruple this weekend as Wigan and Salford seek monumental FA Cup shocks. Aston Villa and Newcastle are aiming to end their 7th-decade wait for FA Cup glory when they face off in the tie of the round. And 6th-year Macclesfield produced arguably the biggest ever upset in the competition's history by knocking out holders Crystal Palace in the last round and another Premier League scalp in their sights against Brentford. And of course, the fixtures this weekend will put a pause to the battle for the Premier League. Arsenal, I don't know what the plan is. It looks like they will have to dig deep and fight to finish if they are going to win this Premier League this season.
Let me state it here, and I know not to be angry, not of the angry, and not going to get a lot of family comments and reference. But the truth has to be said, Arsenal is not going to win the league.
Wow.
Man City is going to win the league.
Wow.
No, it's the truth.
Wow.
Man City is not going to win the league.
I think Ikechukwu will not like this.
Ikechukwu, please don't mute me. Please don't mute me.
Wow. Wow, Ikechukwu, you heard from Maiwa. He says that Arsenal is not going to win this league. It's Man City's league. Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal is not going to win the league, and that's just the honest truth. I see some draws, in their future, and that draw probably play into the hands of a Man City for the return leg, and I think that'll probably be the end. They might probably lose the league with less than 5 points, but I don't think they'll win the league this season. There's a lot of nervousness around them, and if you want to win the league, you don't play Brentford the way you played Brentford yesterday. They had only one shot on time. And they were having around possession. What I mean by around possession is the possession was in their half. If you look at the start, you think they have ball possession, but the ball possession is around possession. It's literally in their half. So I don't think they have it in them. I think Arteta used to bottle it with the substitution yesterday, and Man City gets to win the league. However, the FA Cup presents an avenue for them. The avenue is very simple, and the last Saka has been out of form. The likes of Gabriel Jesus and other players that might probably be instrumental in their challenge for a second position behind Man City at the end of the day would need this FA Cup to be able to get in shape and find their scoring boots. I think this is an avenue for them, and this is a time for Arteta to ensure that he features all the star players so that to get them in shape. The same thing probably happened to Man City side also against the Salford side. Remember the last round, they dispatched, they played, I think 10-1 if I'm not mistaken, and this is an avenue for them to put the likes of Haaland and all those and Obama, which are there for them in a scoring shape, because as it is now, it remains 12 games to go, and what Man City needs is to win all their games, and they need to put all those their striker in the mood for goal scoring, and an FA Cup tie against a smaller side it's an avenue for you to do that. So I will not be surprised if you see, an Arsenal and a Man City side field all their stars to ensure that they put them in match fitness mood for them to go for the 12 matches ahead of them.
All right, for our viewers, so I understand the fixtures, and that's the lineup of the fourth round proper draws that was done as far back as January. And of course, Liverpool will be at home as they take on Brighton and Hove Albion. There's Hull City versus Chelsea, Wrexham versus Ipswich, which is the Friday fixtures. And for Saturday, there's Bolton, West Ham, Burnley, Mansfield, Norwich City versus West Brom, Manchester City versus Salford, Southampton takes on Leicester, Port Vale versus Bristol City. There's Aston Villa versus Newcastle, which is an all-Premier League affair, and Liverpool and Brighton as well, which is like for like a Premier League affair. There's Birmingham, who used to be in the Premier League. They take on Leeds on Sunday. There's Grimsby. Manchester United know them very well. Manchester United is their customer. They take on Wolves. And of course, there's Stoke versus Fulham. There's Oxford versus Sunderland. And Arsenal will takes on Wigan Athletic in one of the Sunday's fixtures. There's Macclesfield versus Brentford. We'll wrap it up with the FA Cup. Any surprises you expect this weekend?
I don't think there'll be any surprises. I think the only surprise probably be Brighton bumping out Liverpool. This is me not talking as an analyst. This is talking as somebody that wants Liverpool to come and join us at home.
Oh my.
So I think for all the big sides that are playing small things, Chelsea versus all, Rosen going back to his former club, City. He was one of their stars, at the end of his career. Going back there, I think all the big teams playing the smaller sides, I think they probably is going to be an easy win for them. For Aston Villa, Newcastle, I think Eddie Howe needs to get it right. If he does not get it right, I don't think Eddie Howe continues with Newcastle at the end of the season, because how do you spend so much money and you ain't even able to deliver just one Carling Cup? I think he needs to get it right in this FA Cup and probably do something fantastic. For Liverpool, Brighton, I think if Liverpool that started this season shows up, I think Liverpool takes that particular time.
All right. Thank you very much for being professional and that in just this area anyway. Thank you very much, Mayo. Have a great weekend. All the best for the weekend.
Well, it's always amazing to me, and I'm looking forward to see Brighton beat Liverpool so I can come on Monday and gloat on this show. Thank you for having me, Jerry.
Not going to happen at Anfield. All right. Big thanks to the guys who made the show great, talking about the likes of Shegun, not leaving out Sam, as well as Paul, and Ikechukwu, who's an Arsenal fan. Definitely wouldn't like that comment from Maiwa saying that they are not going to win the league this season. My name is Jerry Apelihai, saying thanks for being a part of the locker room. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. Stay tuned.
VOP TV, Now, you have more than a voice.
When you say, make Nigeria no happen to you, me sef go say, make you no happen to Nigeria.
You dey bypass your light meter. You dey jump queue.
Yet, you dey wait make Nigeria change for you. My brother, my sister, you sef change.
Oh yeah, see that Naija pikin wey pack dirty wey block gutter wey dey cause flood.
Abba, Naija pikin, make we dey care for our environment.
Gen Z is no one work. Now quick cash them they find.
Just like that, boys don't turn